What's up, everybody? Camera angle is not going to get everything in there like I would like, so we're going to have to split the difference. How's that sound? Maybe I can put these up here. This. And then we can give the general a spot down here. Like this. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, what's up, guys? It is another Saturday night live stream. Smoke show, Saturday night smoke show. I really need to come up with some better terms for this. I think about it on a pretty regular basis. I just have never really nailed something down that felt right. The Saturday night smoke show really is the closest thing I've ever came to it having a name. I've been doing this for years. Like I need to, I need to figure it out. Like anyway, let's see. I do not know. Okay, LC, I just saw you in the chat. I do not know what meal I am going to attempt to consume tonight. I did email you, but I checked back a few times. I didn't see, I didn't expect you to get it, because I know if you're anything like me with emails, they are few and far between getting read. Let's put this here. But I think we should go, like, this is a legit collection that LC sent along last week. Like, everything together, it amasses its own ration history collection. And especially when you get into the photos. And this, I have come to find out, has quite a bit of significance to LC. She has been, I would assume, packing it around for years, or had it on display for years. It might have had a little bit of a pressure change from you to me. It does feel like it's gained a little bit of pressure, but I'm not sure. If you can see in the lid right there, you see it's like, it looks oily. I've wondered if it started seeping a little bit because it got under pressure. So what I might have to do, I might have to relieve that pressure so that it doesn't start seeping out. Never had one, especially that came from up north, because LC is from Canada. But yeah, now, if I may suggest not doing the Frankfurters tonight, since I don't think I have available buns that I could use, because when I have a Frankfurter, I do typically lean towards trying to eat them on buns. I mean, they're all right eating them on their own, for sure, with crackers, but it's just not the same as having, like, an MRE hot dog. So, that leaves us with either, which, oh man, I forgot we had the pork chow mein too. I forgot what menu this was until just now. This pork chow mein, LC and Mike Krisher worked together on getting this. It was in the same package, but it came from Krisher. So, we got the omelet with ham. We got the pork chow mein, menu number 9. I'm not sure what year this is from. I don't know if, did Krisher ever tell us if he knew what year this pork chow mein was? Oh. I just had a pretty interesting experience while I was in the shower a little bit ago. I guess I could tell you guys about it right now. I say we take a vote on the general's name. Kids say General. Oh, yeah. I was... excuse me. Man, I've been thinking about that. I do want to put a little more thought into that, because he gets to become a character. And I do think it should be significant. And I do like the idea of Sebastian being part of it. And I was thinking, like, I'm always trying to tie my grandpa into this, and this being a representation of World War II, and my grandpa being I mean, he was a bad dude in World War II. Like, when you get shot on 2 separate occasions and you stay in the war both times, you don't go home. I know a lot of guys did that, right? There had to be thousands that done. Well, I don't know if thousands got shot on. Well, probably at least a few thousand got shot on 2 separate occasions and stayed in. But he did it. Got shot in the chest, and then he got shot in the wrist. Blew his whole wrist out. He always wore his watch. I think it was like the civilian version of the military watch that he wore. I do have his military watch, but he always wore it with the face on the inside of his wrist, which I started doing that when I started wearing a watch, I think because he done it. But like the whole inside of his wrist, about, I'd say a chunk about that big, it was just a big crater. Like it was blown out, and there was, like, I don't know, a big hole there. And then on the other side, there was obviously the entry wound on this side, exit wound blew out his wrist. And I thinking back about that, like, I don't know how that didn't completely ruin the function of his hand. But he maintained his marksmanship after that, and he was one of the 21 gun saluters every time we would go. We went to a lot of veteran funerals through the American Legion that is literally right behind my house. But I grew up in that place, and every time one of his comrades would pass away, we would go and attend the funeral, and he would take his M1 Grand, and he would fire 7 shots. There'd be 3 of them, and as far as I can remember, there was always 3. I can't remember there ever happened to be just 1. But anyway, Kaylin just said she will be live tomorrow, which is Sunday, at her usual time. What time is that, Kaylin? Daniel says 7.30-06 volleys aren't cheap these days. I figure it's probably $1 a round or $1.50 a round if I was to guess. Is it more than that? I have got to get me an M1 Grand before they become unobtainable. The only real reason I want one is because of my grandpa and the fact that he had an amazing, a meticulously kept and collected gun collection that he had amassed over probably, I guess, about 40 years. I mean, he had his service rifle, and then he had, I'm going to say, roughly between 40 and 50 others, maybe even more than that. I mean, it was a pile. And I've told you guys the story. The day of his funeral, the day we were putting him into the ground, his nephew, great big old slobby, just nasty guy, broke into the house, and that was all he took. He just came in and he stole all the guns. So it just, man, still burns me up. Still burns me up. I think I was 12 years old at the time. Oh, dude, history savior, absolutely. If you make it up this way, or you want to figure something out, like, I'll probably take more than one, actually. One for myself and then one for, like, display purposes or something like that, maybe. I definitely want to get... I want to get one and maybe even go as far as having it kind of customized in his honor. Maybe even having his medals put in the stock or something. Because I have all of his medals that he actually received. My grandpa Now, I have some of the letters as well, and I have a letter or two that they wrote to him apologizing for not giving him his medals and for still owing him medals. So my grandpa, when he passed away, well, still to this day, I guess, I mean, his medals are still owed to the family. So they were not in any hurry or too concerned about getting the servicemen their medals. He didn't get his Purple Heart until, I think, 1988 or something. It was something like that. I'd have to look at the paperwork again. It was a long time, and he only got one of them. He's supposed to have two. And he did have a Purple Heart license plate too, which I think that meant, I think he got free tags, registration tags and I think it was something like that back in the day. But back to naming the general. Does he come with a name? I mean, even if he does, it doesn't really. We're going to change it. I don't think I remember reading anything along those lines. But LC suggested to bring in Sebastian, my dog that's passed away recently. How long ago was that? Let's see. It ain't been a year yet, has it? Guess I don't have the date. I have it on my phone. I do have it on my phone. Kaylin says it's been 8 or 9 months. Let me think. I think it was warm. Or was it? I can't remember exactly when the date was. I wrote it down, and I do have it in my phone. So, but Sebastian was a part of our life, a huge part of our life, and especially with my kids growing up. Like, obviously, family pet is a staple with little kids, and he was. Let's see, how old was Alex? We got Sebastian in 2007, and he was born in October of 2007. So he would have been, how old would he have been when he passed? He passed in 2021. He'd have been 14 years old. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, 14 or 15 years old. Anyway, he was a big part of all of our lives, and especially the last 4 or 5 years of his life. Like, he took so much of our time, and because we had to care for him so much and do so much for him, especially that last year or so. So, my grandfather's name was Howard Russell Roush. Everybody that knew him called him Russ. That's what they called him in the military. That's what everybody around here that knew him. There's old newspaper articles. He was on his way to being a professional caliber. I don't know if he would have made it to the pros. He was already in the minors. I guess the equivalent of the minors back in the 40s. Whenever he went to the war. But he was all over newspaper articles. Like, he was noticed a lot. And I don't know what happened to those newspaper articles. I would love to be able to find them. But he was one heck of a baseball pitcher. So, names. So now you guys know the names of what I've got. There's Sebastian. And then my grandpa's name being Howard Russell Roush. There's a whole lot of Roushes around this area. My screen's not, there we go. So, last week, the live stream cut off, and I could not restart it. It's the first time I think that's happened to me. Uh, if it has happened, it's been a long time since something like that happened. But it just went completely out, kicked me completely out. Didn't just stop and then kick me back out into the app or anything. It was closed out. Then when I came back in, it showed that I was still live, and I was commenting on my own live stream through this phone, and it didn't make sense. But what I want to say is, if that happens to happen again, God forbid, which my son's not here right now, so the internet isn't being used, so it should technically, hopefully, the internet is up to par. But if it does happen again this week, I will absolutely go back through. It'll take me, I'm going to say, between 5 and 10 minutes to redo everything, I would say. I might, if I redo it, I just won't put a description in. I won't do anything like that. I'll just fire it back up with a title. But I will fire the live stream back up if something happens. But if that happens again, it might be a different one. But I've always been able to restart the live stream. It just did not give me the option last time. History Savior just sent a super chat. Says, yes, that is a World War II alcohol heater can. History Savior, thank you for the super chat. That was that belonged to LC, and LC said that it was sitting around for years, and I guess it might have been a little out of place. It's not out of place here. I have a museum in my corner, and I know a lot of guys out there that are into this and like me have a lot of stuff similar to this. But here's the thing, like, I don't know that I could start up a 1,500 square foot museum with items that are worth looking at with display cases. And I would need mannequins and uniforms and props, and there'd be a lot that would go into something like that. But it does seem like it's worth doing. Now, History Savior, you guys, if you have not yet went over to History Savior's channel and subscribed, I highly suggest you do that. Just go check it out, see what's what. Like, he's done, I know he's done some pretty cool ghost videos and stuff. Like, and obviously history is always involved. Ration videos. But he's also involved in, like, cinematography, so I'm going to say his quality is about 1,000 times better than mine, so I've got to figure out a way. I've got to stop procrastinating and get equipment that brings my scale up. So somebody else having trouble getting medals too. I see Multi-Magnum talking about putting in for medals and for a bronze star, and he's still waiting. I know my grandpa, correspondence-wise, back and forth with, I don't know who. I've actually got a few of them under the table right here, including his Purple Heart. I keep it under the table right here. But I don't know who he messaged back and forth, which it was letters, snail mail back then, obviously. But I can't remember who that was that he had to go through. But anyway, he definitely fought for him for years. If he wouldn't have wrote letters and stayed on top of it, he probably wouldn't have got any of them, as far as I know, because he didn't get any of them at all until probably the 80s, I would say, late 80s. So, we were talking about the name for the general. I would say this at this juncture, let's come up with ideas, and then once we get a few good ideas, then maybe put it to a vote. I gave you guys my ideas. It doesn't mean you have to stick to that. You can come up with whatever you want. Maybe it could be just something super cool. What I do plan on doing with him, I really don't feel comfortable taking them out of the box is the only thing. So is what I might do, which I do have others. I do have other G.I. Joes in my house somewhere, packed away. They are the mid 2000s versions, mid to they're somewhere between 2005 and 2008 or 9. I bought that collection for my kids with all the accessories that came with them. I think there was like a Navy SEAL that came with like a raft, and there was a whole pack of stuff. And I have no clue what's even in that stuff. But I got all the accessory. There was, you buy the guy for the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, and the Army. And then you could buy an accessory pack that went along with each branch. There might have been other specialists in there too. There might have been like Navy SEAL and Army Ranger. I can't remember because it seems like there was more than 4. I'd have to go back and check, and I'm sure all that information's online. But I do have them somewhere here, and I would be willing to open one of those up so that I can set up basically like a diorama, because Elsie's got me thinking about all this now with the miniatures that she sent along with the little canteens and the mess kit, everything that's there. Plus, I need to pick up like a K ration crate, and maybe if I can find little cans, that would be awesome. General Sebastian Rusty Roush. General Sebastian. That's Dan just sent a super chat with his thoughts on the matter. General Sebastian Rusty Roush is Roush over here. I know it's different in Australia, but yeah, that's the typical spelling for it here around this area where I live. See, that's the thing with names. Like, you can spell something any way you want. I have gotten so much crap. You made me just think of this, Dan. And thank you again for the super chat, Dan. But you just made me think of this. See, I don't know if you guys noticed my name. It's a name, okay? Oldsmokey is one name, one word. History Channel had a problem with this. And I told them too, like right in the beginning, because when I started seeing what they were doing, like when my name would be on the screen and stuff, I was like, hey, wait a minute. You got that broke into two words. It's like, it's not 2 words. It's one word. It's my name. So as a name, I get old and smoky are 2 separate words in conversation or in typical use, but it's my name. It's all one word. Oldsmokey is my name. And I could not get them to figure, like, I didn't get to communicate with the editors. I was talking to a guy that was, I think he was an executive for History Channel whenever I was talking to him. His name is Jim. Kaylin says, Dan, cyanide cookies, that was better than her idea. Jesse C., but they told us to build in records. Plague records. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, actually. But, okay. So you guys think of names. I will revisit this topic in just a little bit. Right now, we need to decide on first generation tan bag, pork chow mein, menu number 9, which we will also, once we decide what menu, we're going to do a little bit of research together, because I didn't know which menu we were going to do, and I could have tried to do research on all 3, but I wouldn't have retained all the information, so it would have just, I guess I could have wrote it down. That would have been the smart thing to do. Now that you can see it hit me, right? Like a ton of bricks. Oh yeah, well, I could have wrote it down. Sometimes, man, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm just not. LC said General Sebastian Russell. Sebastian Russ. His middle name. We never used the name Russell though. It was always Russ, and if I could get Russ in there somehow, I haven't even really thought about how I would put that together yet. Huh. I mean, obviously, like I said, it doesn't have to be that. It was just ideas and suggestions of things that in my past or part of my life, whatever. And you guys know me. A lot of you guys know me by now. And you know enough about me to probably make suggestions. So I don't want to leave all this stuff out, especially the photos. Everything else is in plastic, and it would be okay. But the photos, I'm not comfortable with leaving out, and I'll probably move the general. Hey, what's going on? All right, Eeyore. Good to see you made it, dude. Yeah, I do want to, man, you know how life is. Like, I've got a lot of stuff that needs to happen, and I am actually making progress. I do feel like my health is improving, and that is something I don't feel like I can say confidently for a long time, but I do feel like I've had a pretty long stretch of consistent improvements now that I feel like I'm on an upswing, and hopefully, knock on wood, nothing crazy happens. I'll tell you guys what happened when I was in the shower earlier. It was a little weird. Still feel a certain kind of way about it. Anyways, flip the camera. Let's talk about the meals that are here real quick and figure out what's on the menu tonight so we can get into one of these. And while we're doing that, I am going to be putting away the photos because I didn't have the newspaper out and I didn't put all the photos out. Okay. There we go. This one here. These two. And this one goes under like that. And I got them. Okay. Put them over here with the newspaper. But yeah, I'm definitely, I definitely got ideas rolling around in my head about what I'm going to do with the miniature ration setups now. I wouldn't mind doing a full-size ones if I ever have the room to, like, get a mannequin, full-size K-ration crate, you know, do the real deal. If you guys ever have seen or heard of the Dragon Man, like he's a guy out in Colorado, he was going to have his own History Channel show, but tragedy struck, literally filming the last episode. It's crazy what happened. Anyway, that guy has some amazing, and I do mean amazing, setups as far as uniforms and mannequins and things like that. And I'll bet if we talk to him, he might be able to work with us, because I'll bet I know he displays every uniform that is donated to him, and I'll bet he knows every person. A lot of history is going to be gone when he gets too old. So somebody needs to be in there learning from him. You guys should look him up if you don't know who I'm talking about. You won't be disappointed. If you enjoy rations and stuff and vintage military, this guy is, he's got the best collection probably in the country, if not the world. Outside of the Smithsonian or something like that, with truly significant historical items from certain battles and certain days. But he's got, I mean, his collection is it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I would guess it's probably worth $100 million or more. I mean, it's up there. It's got to be tons and tons and tons of money. Crazy collection. Has many. Yes, every one of them is functional. Also, by the way, Tim, that's something else about his collection. Nothing he has is decommissioned that I know of. I think everything that he has is fully functional, or he doesn't even want it, I don't think. So, but he's probably got some stuff that's been decommissioned that he's picked up along the way for parts and stuff like that. He'd probably be a good guy to get to know if we were going to try to get a museum, like a large, decently large scale museum up. Even 1,000-foot museum, 1,000-square-foot museum would be a pretty good start. Tim says he follows him. Okay, meal. We got to figure out what meal we're going to get here. And then I'm going to do just a little research on it. Not going to drag you guys down too much with the research, but I definitely want to see if we can figure out a year range and also how long the menu ran and whatnot. But we got an omelet with ham that I'm guessing is 1992 or 91, 90. Did I say 90? I think I said 90 to 95 because of the double box. One on front, one on back. And then we go over here, we got a menu number 6, which is the Frankfurter's beef. And then over here we got a menu number 9, which is the pork chow mein, which I think I guessed on this one being like between 1998 and 2002, I think. Somewhere in that range. Doesn't seem like pork chow mein was around for very long either, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been around 5 years. But I have had this menu numerous times throughout my life, and as far as the vintage MREs go, and I have enjoyed it. All except for one time it was bad, but, that happens. Oh, Mike, this is a 96. So this is the first year tan bag. Oh, so Mike just gave me the information that this is a first year. I didn't think pork chow mein was around in 96. I'll be daggone. Huh. How about that? I am a little bit shocked by that. I really did not think that pork chow mein was around that early. But I will go ahead. All right. Let's see. So, LC, do you know what years these are by any chance? I mean, they're two different manufacturers. We got a Right Away Foods here, and then over here we got a Sapaco. So it seems like I've had a brown bag case that had two different manufacturers in it before, though. So I'm not going to say 100% that they couldn't have came from the same case. I say you look at the Open Me item for G.I. Joe. Oh yeah, I did. But I didn't see a menu on that. Oh, duh. I do not remember it saying pork chow mein on it. And it says G.I. Joe MRE on it. That is funny. Let's be honest. If this is an actual G.I. Joe item, which it very well could be, they kind of put in like minimal effort, did they not? It's not even, they're all vertical print. Outside of older LRPs were horizontal print like this. Let's see, I've got one up there on my shelf right now. I can't remember when they stopped doing that, right off the top of my head. So pork chow mein it is. Well, I'm down with that. So we got a 1996. We're going to look at the menus real quick then. Oh, I need to flip the spoon. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're going to start with pork chow mein this week. 1996. How old is that? 06, 16's 20, 4, 5, 6, 7. 27 years old, potentially. 26 to 27 years old. Hey, Miss Marilyn, how you doing? Good to see you in here. Okay. Well, these two are going to take a hike for now then. Put them back in the box over here. Oh, I should have had Amber pick up some frames while she was down there. She just went to the store. And I should have had her pick up some frames. I do not want to leave him up here either. I don't trust myself when I open retorts for stuff not to get flung on it. All right, 1996 pork chow mein. I just pulled up the menus page. So I don't know that we'll see a hoorah bar, but 96 we won't see a drink mix of that color in here either. They'll be dark brown. Okay. Let's go down to 1996 in here. If you guys ever need information on MREs and even some foreign rations, MREinfo.com is your answer to that information. Right here, you click into 1996. Goes in and tells you a detailed list of each menu, which I'm not gonna do that. I want to be surprised, so I'm not gonna look at the exact menu. But menu number 9, right there it is, 1996 pork chow mein. Let's see. Or menu number 9, sorry. Did I say 6? I think I said 6. It's menu number 7 in 1997. So it moves from 9 to 7 in 97. Still number 7 in 98. Let me see if I can find it here. Right there. Menu number 22, pork chow mein. 22 in 2000, pork chow mein. Looks like it's gone in 2001. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm not seeing. No, wait. That's boneless pork chop. Jamaican. There's a boneless pork chop, which is menu number 2, and it says also or Jamaican pork chop with noodles. I don't know which one of those I have, but I have one of those from 1999. Country Captain Chicken, grilled chicken breast. I do not see pork chow mein in 2001. So we got 96, 97, 98, 99, and 2000. We got a 5-year run. I don't think it came back in 2000. Yeah, I don't see it. Nope. All right, so it looks like we got a 5-year run on this particular menu. And this is a Sapaco. First year for the tan bags. And this would be the 3rd year for pound cakes. There was something else that started in 96. What was it? There was something else. This was the first year that they started adding nutritional information to each item, which, in my opinion, is a pretty big deal. I mean, but when you're young, it doesn't matter. When you're a kid, to most people, especially back then, a lot of people didn't pay attention to anything like that. But I do pay a lot of attention the older I get, that's for sure. It claims that there are still freeze-dried fruits in 1996, but I don't know. There might have been some leftovers being used, but I don't think. I know 95 there were still some floating around. Grilled beef steak, Mexican rice, chicken parm, pasta primavera, cheese tortellini. Oh, they got rid of potatoes au gratin this year as well. Oh, rotten potatoes. Okay. All right, so we're going to check this out. This is a 1996. So this is some pretty old food, guys. What? How old did I say it was? '20. Wait, 96, 06, 16. So that's 24, 25. So 26, 27 years old. That's what I thought. Let's see if the peelable seal will work. Not really. I mean, I made it work. All right. Let's start with the accessory packet since it's right on top. We have a red Taster's Choice. Probably not good to see that because I have only had, I think I've actually only had one red Taster's Choice come out basically perfect, and that was out of a frozen MRE that I had. And out of 2 of those frozen MREs that I had, actually I had 3, but only 2 were old enough to have the red Taster's Choice. Yeah, I only got one. One Taster's Choice that was good, the other one was bad. Is that a wet nap? What is that? I don't know. We'll check that out here in a second. Looks like 7. So this would be a 97. 7013. Yeah, this would have to be a 97, right? Right? Yeah, the newest item in here would dictate at the oldest it could have been packed. So, okay, so this is a 97 instead of a 96. Close enough, because it's literally 13 days into the year. 013. That is correct, right? I don't know. Let's look and see what other items say. I bet we're going to see a lot of 96 stuff in here. Look at there. Dark brown crackers. Still floating around in 1997. There should have been a date code on here. I thought. Huh. Not seeing one. Unfortunately, by this time, this era of crackers, you can see that the salt had pretty much... These are still way better, but the salt's gone. Yeah, I don't see a date on these stamped on the edge or anything. It's a good-looking pack of crackers, though. Yes, sir. So Mike has a YouTube channel, by the way, that you guys I don't think there's a link in this description, but the last video and the video before is easy to find it. And if not, just type in Mike Krisher, MRE, and you'll find it. Okay, the flameless ration heater. A little bit of filings coming out of it. Super, super long bags on these old things. Let's stick that over there. What else we got in here? Oh, tannish bag. Lemon lime flavor, beverage base powder. There's a lot of different hues, different colors they used during these years. There was not a lot of consistency in their packaging colors. Oh, here we go. Nice dark brown peanut butter. Let's see. There should be a date stamped on this for sure. Right? Aha. Right there. Well, kind of looks like a 6316. Yeah. Okay, so the 316th day of 96. So very, very towards the end of the year. 96. It feels really, really nice. The peanut butter feels really good. Everything's looking really good so far. Oh. There we go. No delamination either. I mean, I might have just caused a little bit, but here's our partially biodegradable MRE spoon. Oh, I was like, another accessory packet. I really thought that was another accessory packet. That is our noodles, chow mein noodles. There's a date. 6/3/45. So 20 days before the end of the year. Definitely December, what, 11th? 12th? Something like that. All right. What's this? What? Look at that. I thought that was like some sort of sausage or something. I was like, what is that? That is a cookie bar, chocolate covered. So an oatmeal cookie bar, chocolate covered. Really kind of cool looking one, I gotta say. I dig the way that chocolate's looking underneath there. Wow. That looks like, I can already tell it looks like it's going to be really good. It's very, very well vacuum sealed. So I have high confidence in this. 297th day of 1996. Hard as a rock. Of course. What else we got? Ooh, look at there. Beautiful pack of M&Ms. Plain chocolate candies. 1.69 ounces. See, Bob really got into the whole chocolate thing and like because of D-rations and stuff. And Bob was telling me how they came up with the exact right temperature to temper the chocolate in M&Ms, so that your hand is going to be at like 95, 96 degrees, 94 degrees, depending on your temperature. But when you pop them in your mouth and it's 98 degrees, 98.7 or whatever in your mouth, they melt. That's why they melt in your mouth, not in your hands. But there's like a perfect science to how they came up with the exact right temper for this chocolate. It's really interesting. Looks like the well, I don't know. It says 636, so I'm not really sure on that. There is no Best Buy date on the old M&Ms. 240 calories in this pack. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, it's a real pretty pack of M&Ms. And one last item left in here, looks like. Yep. We have the pork for the pork chow mein. Ingredients: water, cooked pork, water chestnuts, celery, mushrooms, modified food starch, soy sauce, water soybeans. That's your soy sauce. Corn oil, dehydrated onions, salt, sugar, soy lectin, spices, garlic powder, disodium isonate, disodium guanylate. I can't pronounce that one. Gynolate. I don't know. Anyway, the 269th day, 269, coming out of the box, packed by Shelf Stable Foods Incorporated out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm going to guess that's probably a division of Warnick. Be my bet. It's pretty runny, which is normal. There it is. It's all them lot codes and stock numbers and batch numbers. Lots of identification going on there. I'm going to go throw this in some boiling water. Yep, I don't think there's anything else that I need to throw in there, right? Right. 8 ounces, 227 grams, inspected and passed by the Department of Agriculture. Yep. Straight up looking like some brown bag contents, some dark brown bag contents. Be right back. We're going to put this thing in there about 5 to 6 minutes. No longer than that, because if I leave it in there longer than like the 5 or 6 minutes, it will taste like metal, no matter what. You can take a brand new MRE, and if you throw it in boiling water for more than like 6, 7 minutes, it's going to taste no. Whoops. Huh. I don't know if you guys could hear me or not, but I was saying, if you throw a brand new MRE into some boiling water, you are going to end up having a main that tastes like metal. I mean, there's just no way around it. It's just the byproduct of boiling something in super hot water in a retort pouch. All you're doing is, you can eat it cold, so really all you have to do is heat it up. 5 minutes is really too long, in my opinion. If you got a rolling boiling water, it takes like literally 2 minutes for it to be heated all the way through. I mean, less probably, but 2 minutes, and I feel like you're safe. Before I get the tray up here, let's take a look at this accessory packet real quick. See what all we got, even though it's see-through. There we go. Oh, this is accessory packet A. I guess I didn't mention that. And we have us a little bottle of Tabasco that is super full. Look how full it is. See that little air bubble? Barely an, well, I mean, there's literally barely an air bubble in there. I don't know that I've ever had one that full. Look at that. That is crazy. I've got some brand new ones up here. Like, look, that one's never been opened. That's pretty normal right there. To have it down you know, below the green right there. Let me see if I got another one right here. I don't have another one. I put them all up. I had a bunch of them up here. But this is very abnormal. Here's another one up here on the shelf. Like, this is a newer one, I think. But that, see? And this thing is 26 years old, and there hasn't been any seepage, any evaporation, nothing. Look at that. That, to me, something that simple is super cool because it's so unusual. I have opened and handled hundreds of vintage Tabascos, and I've never came across one that was full like that. All right, we'll go through the contents, and then I'll go pull that out. We got our cream substitute dry non-dairy. We have our little Nipsey moist towelette. Kind of a weird. They didn't have that contract for very long. You don't see those, but maybe a year or two, maybe 2 years, 96, 97. 6 grams of Domino sugar. I like these elongated packages. They're just kind of cool. They remind me of the old World War II Domino boxes that were kind of skinny and tall. Well, little, they're like that big. Single use. Nice looking iodized salt from Mark Lynn Industries. That's also a weird one. Usually it's diamond crystal. Here's our taster's choice that is absolutely no good. So there is a lump right there that's kind of like it's like a solid chunk. That's okay, because I got some other coffee right here that we'll use. There's some really good looking, well, it's got some spots on it, but chiclet style gum in the green variety. This would be what, spearmint? We got our matches made by good old D.D. Bean and Sons. You know that. Strike on back. Black matches with white tip. And last but definitely not least, you got your United States issued booty ration. Or napkins, paper towels, whatever you want to use it for. All right, let me go grab that out of the water. All right, so I tried something a little different this time. I wrapped it up in a couple towels to try to preserve some of the heat while I get everything else out and ready. Hopefully that will help. Probably will. Okay. Well, there's your contents, though, before I go putting everything up. Got your pork chow mein noodles. Well, chow mein noodles. You got your lemon lime beverage base powder in the very odd fleshy tan color packaging. Old brown bag, dark brown packaging crackers, MRE crackers. Dark brown MRE peanut butter. A nice vintage pack of pristine M&Ms. And everybody's favorite, the oatmeal cookie bar chocolate covered. And then you got your accessory packet contents with a very cool bottle of Tabasco sauce. You guys know I can't open that, right? I got to use a different one. I wonder how long that thing will stay that full. I mean, it stayed that full this long, but I wonder if the sunlight, you know, being out of the bag will affect it. I'm curious. All right. Contents come to me. Swap you with a different bottle here. That one up here on the shelf. All right. There we go. It's time to get the drink ready. I guess I should place all this stuff out first. Drink, peanut butter, M&M's, cookie, pork chow mangoes there, accessory pack of contents, mixed spoon. Getting swapped for one that's already open. Well, I think all the ones I have here are in packages now, except this super weird light colored one, which I just realized is the same color as the Australian spoon. There's a normal MRE spoon. Well, this one's even a little bit light. Most of them are darker than this. But it's crazy how those match up that well. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. I've been looking for that light colored MRE spoon for a while, and I found it last week. And I guess I was just happy to have it back. All right. We're going to go with classic Superman this week. Well, you know what? Actually, given the date and month, we'll go with this cup that I got up at in Cincinnati. Sweetwater Brewing Company. Anyway, lemon lime, beverage base powder. I want to cut it open. Let me get my razor knife out here. Cut it enough. There we go. Not bad. Not looking bad. Focus. There we go. Little chunky. Not too bad, though. Give it a taste. Woo! That is sour and tart and a little sweet. Obviously, if you've ever had Pixie Sticks, that's what eating a dry drink mix tastes like. I want to buy some Pixie Sticks and try to make a drink mix with them and see if that works. Like, dump out enough Pixie Sticks to make that much powder in a glass, add some water to it, and see if it tastes like an MRE drink mix. I'm pretty confident that it would. All right, here we go. Nice. Love that color. It is like one of the craziest looking color-wise, outside of like the red that has the Red Lake 40 in it, that is just awful for human consumption. Straight up cancer-causing. And we still use it in all kinds of foods here in America. I can't understand how it's not outlawed. I look for it all the time in my foods now, and if it's in there, I don't eat it. And I'm sure I need to figure out a bunch of other stuff too that's like that. And stay away from it. Oh, I've got other hot sauce here that I can use too that LC sent last time. So that'll be over here on standby. Alright, let's see if we get a hiss out of these crackers. Not really a tear notch on there. Maybe they'll rip, maybe they won't. Good Lord, nope, they will not. All you need is just a little tiny start, though. Literally just, well, that's more than I wanted to give it, but. Oh, there it was. I was about ready to say. No vacuum release there, but we got one. Which is a good sign. And look at those crackers. They're not broken. They're not crumbling. They're not falling apart. You get you a brand new MRE. Brand new 2023 MRE. And I'll bet you the crackers will be broke, or when you open them, they will break. They're just, they don't have the integrity. And they should. Like, these guys are out there trying to eat these things, and they're falling apart before they even get a spread on them or get them in their mouth. They need to hold together like these old ones. Call it a personal opinion, a biased opinion, whatever you want to call it. But that's my belief. I think they need to fix the crackers. Like, they had them right to begin with. I don't know why they messed with them, you know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. It's been a while since I had a cup of coffee, it seems like. Something in my cup. Seems like I was using a different cup for a while. I don't know what I was using. I've got a cup that Amber got me that says cat guy. Like cat lady. But I'm a cat guy. Alright, we'll take a look at that Taster's Choice. But I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of this. That should do it, I think. Alright, let's take a look at this clearly bad Taster's Choice. Oh, it would have been nice if I could peel it open, but that ain't going to happen. Because there's some stuck up in here. It's like it's almost like it got moisture damage, but I know that's not the case. It had to be packed that way or something. All the red Taster's Choice is that way. Look at that. Yeah, I wouldn't call that dry mold. I'd just call that mold. Could you drink this? I mean, if you were desperate, absolutely. And probably not have, maybe not any ill effects at all. I mean, I've drank it before, and I don't recall it bothering me. It does taste kind of funky. It from what I remember, it's more like a weird bitterness. What the heck is she doing? Making a spectacle. Let's see what the creamer looks like. It is non-dairy, right? Yeah. So it should be fine. Feels good. Well, shoot. I didn't cut that very good. Oh yeah, that looks absolutely perfect. Take a look. Oh, yeah. Feel confident having that in my drink. Using the bag for the trash bag for right now. But I will probably clean that out since it goes along with the mini. And we need our sugar. Our little elongated domino sugar. Kind of cool. There we go. And of course, it's held up perfectly. Actually, there was a little chunk to it, too. Not a problem, though. Not a problem. Oh, I don't have hot water. Oops. Well, shoot. I better go boil some. I'll be right back. Totally forgot. Sorry about that. Totally forgot about needing. You know, I'm used to having my boiled water right here in my thermos, but well, that hasn't been the case since a few weeks after the East Palestine or Palestine, however you pronounce it, up there in Ohio, and it has affected the water. Then 2 days ago, I saw a report where the Ohio River is on the list of endangered rivers, number 2 on the list of endangered rivers. And I read into it a little bit, but there really wasn't much to the article about pollution and stuff. And let me tell you guys something. The Ohio River's cleaner right now than other than that East Palestine stuff. Now, I'm not claiming anything about that because I don't know. But other than that, the Ohio River's cleaner now than it's been in the last 30 years. But it's not good. Anyway, not good. Set these items off to the side. Let's take a look at and I just stuck a knife in my pocket. Let's just use this one. Let's take a look at these noodles. There we go. Basically no smell. There's your little desiccant fresh pack. It looks brand new still. Try one of these noodles. Nice. They taste like a kind of tastes like a cracker. Like a Toll House cracker or something, like buttered. No sweetness to it whatsoever. Savory only, lightly salty, with a real bready, like cracker flavor. But the noodles are in perfect shape, which is a good thing. So we'll be putting those on top of our main. My water's done. Right back. Okay. I should have used a measuring cup to heat my water up. I know I'm gonna make a mess. Nah, I'm alright. Just gonna go for it. Yeah, that's about right. A little extra water. Grab a towel, grab this cup. Alright. Here we go. We're getting there. We're almost there. Almost there. Oatmeal cookie, chocolate covered. Let's see what this thing looks like. 26, 27-year-old cookies are not supposed to be edible. You guys, it really is something every time I get to eat something like this. And I try to understand that, you know, I'm doing something a lot of people don't get to do, and how lucky I am to get to eat some of these things. I know it might sound silly to some people, but not to me. There it is. Didn't want to open it like that, but it's just the way it happened. There we go. There is our cookie. See how it was sealed in there? It kind of got some of the chocolate. Usually they're all shiny like that, and it would have been had it not been so wrinkly. That chocolate must have been like, I can just picture it, you know, doing the wave on top of there. Let's see what the other side looks like. Pretty shiny over here. Nice. It's crazy a cookie 26, 27 years old can look like that. Alright. I don't think this needs stirred, right? Probably not. I'll do it anyway. Yeah, it didn't need it. Peanut butter's the only thing I got left to open. outside of the main, oh, M&Ms. Smaller the hole, more control, Gundog says. It is definitely a practice that I implore all the time. Bowl. And get her main, which should still be nice and super duper hot, and it is. Alright. Well, that delaminated when I ripped it open. Alright. As you can see, it's definitely on the runny side, but oops, did I already? I guess I already got some down in there. Some pork, some mushrooms, some celery, water chestnuts are supposed to be in there. Here, one just dropped out of the package there. It smells like pork and gravy. Kind of a light peppered gravy. Mainly what I'm picking up smell-wise is just the pork, though. And it smells good. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this package. It's going to leak everywhere if I don't. Alright, let's get down to business. Take a look at the chat real quick. Mike Krisher Reviews says, what's up, Joe? Night, John. Close look at, man, it's hot too. That bowl was hot. Look at that pork. This pork was cooked 26, 27 years ago. I mean, just the thought of that scares most people away immediately. Okay, see that? I don't want anything to do with that. That is a big old chunk of pork fat. Bacon, whatever you want to call it. Like bacon fat. I'll leave it in the bowl for now and just try to avoid it. There's a mushroom. There's chunks of pork. There's a water chestnut right there, right there. I saw some celery in here earlier. There's a piece of celery. I don't know. Can you guys see the steam coming off of it? I know I can. Alright, I'm going for that chunk of pork right there. Actually, no, I'm going to go for a smaller chunk. I want to test it first, just in case. It smells good. It looks good. But you never know until you actually get into it and taste it. Look at a big old mushroom right there. Oh, well. A little tough. Thought I'd be able to just chop it in half. Easily, but fought back a little bit. Alright. Pork, little gravy. Looks like a little celery in there. Lots of them spices up in there. Alright, here we go. Down the hatch. So even though I barely left that in there, it still has a little bit of that metallic flavor from the retort. And it is probably just from me boiling it too, not from sitting in it. So the flavor is right. The pork is very tough. It's a lot tougher than I really expected it to be. There is a little bit of a numbing sensation that is it was pretty immediate, to be honest. You know, kind of like It's a weird feeling. It's like when your teeth stick to your cheeks and lips, that like really weird dry feeling, but it's also a numb feeling. Now that's what's happening here. I mean, I know what that means. I'm going to take another bite though. That water chestnut's nice and crunchy. No, cat, go. Get. Yeah, it's not getting better either. Unfortunately. I'm going to power through it here and eat some with the noodles. But it is it's burning my throat a little bit. Yeah. Definitely a coating throughout my entire mouth. Now, it happens. I want that mushroom. I want that celery. I wanted a water chestnut too, but I'm going in. There we go. Big bite. It don't taste bad. It's got a little bit of a bitterness to it that I know shouldn't be there. But other than that, the flavors are really good. It's just what it's doing in my mouth and in my throat that is the big red flag. Ooh. But the noodles change the entire flavor of it. And it becomes a different kind of savory. Changes the texture. Yep. Alright. Dang it. I hate to do it, but I'm not going to be able to eat this. It's punching me right in the throat, that's for sure. How long does it take? Yeah, you're fine. Okay. I want a big piece of pork and a big chestnut, water chestnut, to go along with some of these. Definitely not botulism. There's definitely some rancidity here happening with these meats, with the meat, the pork. I foresee probably a little bit of a stomach ache from this, but nothing I can't handle, nothing major. I mean, typically whenever I run into this, I don't eat it all. My consequences are usually pretty low. Usually maybe just a little bit of discomfort. I've had some worse consequences before. Few times. This one's not screaming at me to not eat me, but it's pretty bad as far as the stinging in my throat. Really is the major. See, botulism doesn't have any of those side effects that I know of. Odorless, no smell, no taste. And that retort wasn't swelled up at all. It was perfect. Everything else that's up here looks fantastical. You know what? I got to have another bite because I didn't get that Tabasco up in there. Kind of already feel it in my stomach a little bit. They say if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, right? Is that really always true? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to screw around with it, though. I'm going to go for a chunk of that fat, because I'm not a fat guy. I really don't like fat. I don't know, man. That's a lot of fat. If I could get that hanging part off of it. All right. Whoop. Okay. Some Tabasco. Some noodles. That now I got to eat out of the bowl. All right, here we go. First thing that happens is it hits me right in the throat as soon as it goes in my mouth. I mean, it's also affecting my mouth, but more my throat than anything else. It's fun to evaluate when you, because they're all, they all affect you kind of different. The way where they make your mouth numb at, or your throat, or whatever. It's weird. Which glands they're gonna focus their, whatever's happening chemically in there. The pork is tough, but it's good. And I do have a strong feeling and suspicion it's the pork that's causing the numbness and the stinging. Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong about that. It could be something else. It could be the water chestnuts for all I know. Probably not. But it's obviously in the whole thing now. But initially, I'd say it was probably the pork. Usually, coffee instant can knock it out. Now, this ain't coffee instant. This is, was it Nescafe? But let's see if this helps. Oh, my Lord, that is hot. Whew. Wow. I did not expect it to be that hot. Like that's going to help it much. It does seem to help. The hot water, maybe, the hot liquid is helping. But I still got a pretty significant burn happening in the very, like the tonsil area of my throat, and then down around my Adam's apple area. Still interesting. It still interests me. That's good coffee. Creamer's good. I mean, it's like I put just enough of that Nescafe stuff in there to mix with the MRE components that were good. It's good stuff. I gotta go for a drink of this brightly colored, bright green lemon lime beverage base powder. Man, them old ones are just so much better. They really are. Something about them. That tastes like the old green popsicles. What are those called? They're not push pops, are they? Just the popsicle within the plastic. They might have been called push pops. Probably. Because push ups are the sherbet ones, not popsicles. Next, crackers. I didn't eat no crackers with the pork chow mein either. Maybe I should do that too. Let's try just the cracker. Just the dust off the cracker's legit perfect. Not salty at all though. Savory, not too thirst-provoking, I must say. A lot of times, well, them older crackers, they're kind of thirst-provoking. Really? Did I not get a hole in that? What the heck? There we go. Nice little emoji there. All right. Rich, creamy, peanut buttery. The peanut butter is saltier than the crackers. I can definitely taste the salt in the crackers. Or in the peanut butter. What can you say about peanut butter and crackers? I mean, that reminds me of the peanut butter and crackers that I used to have when I was a little kid. Because it was cheap, so that was one of the things that I would get snack-wise. Was saltine crackers with a little bit of peanut butter on them. And that's exactly what that tastes like to me right now. Like the aftertaste of it. The cracker on its own doesn't really taste exactly like a saltine, but it's kind of close. And then when you mix in the peanut butter, I just get that really hardcore nostalgia hit from my childhood. And usually I don't, that doesn't happen to me eating this. I don't know why it is right now, but it is. Your food memory. I'm having one right now. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's usually a pretty vivid recollection of what your surroundings look like in your kitchen or wherever you were at when you ate that certain item. Maybe it was a special burger or something like that, But this was a very regular thing for me to have. But I'm usually not reminded of it so much whenever, I don't know, maybe it's just the crackers are more similar tasting to those old saltines than I can even remember. But it sure is putting me in mind of that and making me think back about. I'm remembering details right now that I haven't thought about in probably 20 years. It's pretty prolific experience, actually. That washes it down really nicely. And that's the crackers and peanut butter did take that weird numbness out of my mouth. my throat still feels a little weird. And I want to go back in for another bite with the cracker just to say that I did it. But it probably wouldn't be wise. My throat is definitely feeling weird. Yeah, I probably should leave that alone. All right, it's cookie time. Nice cross section of that chocolate covered oatmeal cookie. Yeah, there we go. Get my fingerprint on it. All right, let's give it a bite, see how it is. That's thicker than they usually are. That the chocolate coating on it is probably twice as thick as they usually are. The coating, I mean. Well, that is different. That reminds me of a cookie that I've had out of a store. I mean, I don't know if you can look how thick that chocolate is on both sides. It's quite thick. It's really thick on this side. Usually, there's nowhere near that much chocolate on these. Usually, I mean, it's just a just a thin coating. This is double coated in or even more in some places. But that, yeah, man, that extra chocolate really makes me think of something in the civilian market. Can't put my finger on it though. What that's reminded me of. Dang it. That chocolate's got a really unique kind of flavor to it. Especially where I've never gotten this big of a dose of that chocolate like this before. And it really tastes different than it normally does. I mean, I'm going for the dip. Well, it's going to melt in my fingers. Definitely makes it look different, doesn't it? All right, here we go. Really soften the cookie up, which is what I was hoping it would do. Sometimes it doesn't. Depends on the cookie, I guess. And I mean these in particular, the oatmeal, chocolate-covered oatmeal cookies. Man, I'm gonna keep thinking about that, but there's something in the civilian market that you guys can get that tastes a lot like this. And I need to figure out what it is. Look at all that chocolate on that end right there. I mean, there's so much of it. Clean the spoon off. The only downside to these is they like coat your mouth with like that waxy. I mean, it's got to be the wax in the chocolate, I would assume. And their attempt to make them not melt with that wax was kind of, I mean, they should have just tempered the chocolate better, because adding all that wax makes it kind of weird especially when there's a lot of it like this, makes it kind of weird to eat. I mean, but I guess typically there's not that much chocolate. But look on the bottom side, there's a lot. It's a thick boy. There's as much chocolate as there is cookie. And usually I would say it's like a 1-to-3 ratio. 1 part chocolate to 2 or 3 parts cookie. Cool. It's fun to eat. That's for sure. Every time I open a vintage pack of M&Ms like this, I just think, man, some collector like myself somewhere would love to have those. And if I open them right like this, I can really push that back together and they kind of look sealed still. Wow. These are not bloomed. No cracking. Look at that. Really good shape. Really good, other than that blue one. But they do look a little faded, I guess. But, I mean, it's other than that, let's give a couple a try. I mean, talk about going back to your childhood. The flavor of M&Ms, I don't think has really changed in my lifetime. You know, maybe it tasted different before then, but as far back as I can remember, this is exactly what they tasted like. I saw this video of this Ukrainian soldier right in the middle of a high-intensity firefight battlefield. And he's sitting there filming himself eating an energy bar that he found in his pocket. He probably forgot that he had in his pocket or something. And he was happy. He was happy about that energy bar. And then he was happy that he was alive because he'd seen multiple of his mates die that day. But it was that energy bar that made him start thinking of being happy, being lucky to be eaten. All those things that one simple bite of food can trigger in your mind, in your brain, and change your whole morale. Because I'll bet he was really down and depressed at that point in that day until he sat down, and that probably changed his whole outlook. And he started evaluating everything in his whole life. I can show you guys the clip that I'm talking about if you want to see it. I'll pull it up. I'm going to eat that weird M&M. It probably tastes weird. I swear I keep hearing Sebastian. Yeah, the blue one tasted weird. Tasted old. The other ones taste fine though. Old chocolate has a pretty distinct flavor. It's not bad. And it's not bad to eat. It just has a different flavor that some people probably wouldn't like, but doesn't. I mean, I'm used to it, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. They're using old Mosin Nagants, really? Interesting. Alright, let me find that clip real quick and I'll show you guys. Huh. Now, here it is. What the heck? There we go.
It's my first meal I find. I was so lucky enough to find in my pocket this energy bar. It's so cool. Because today I lost a few combat brothers. Also I destroyed a few invaders. I received so much. I was like, it's my first meal I find. I was so lucky enough to find in my pocket this energy bar. It's so cool. Because today I lost a few combat brothers. Also I destroyed a few invaders. I received so much emotions for my whole future life. And of course physically and emotionally disgusted. I'm so appreciated to eat this delicious energy bar. And I realized that life is amazing, guys. That's true. That's totally true. So if I'll survive here, my life will be even more valuable than before because I'm sure that life is a great present. It's my first.
It's an interesting clip, guys. It really is. All right, I'm having a players. Since this stuff came from up in Canada anyway. I don't know how well you guys could hear that clip, but if you guys want to look up the short, it says "Life is amazing," an inspirational message from a soldier from the front line. United 24 Media is the one who's got this clip up. Probably other people have it up too, but you can hear like how close things are whizzing over his head, and he's just like thankful to be having his energy bar, and he's probably on some kind of I'm going to guess adrenaline, euphoric, like come down. He's probably extremely rushed out of his head, and then he sat down, and it's kind of now he's on that euphoric side of it. There is absolutely no branding on these players. They're just white. They got a pretty distinct smell to them. Yeah. Oh, cool. My neighbors are having a party. He's a young kid. Picked up almost like a little bit of a smell of mint in there. I don't know. Canadian matches, Canadian smoke. These are pretty daggone good, I gotta say. Compared to what we get down here, I mean, what I usually smoke, being Pall Malls, are outside, I've said it 100 times, outside of like the American Spirits or Camel Non-Filters or something of that nature, they're the best you can get in a filtered cigarette outside of the American Spirits. I seen Eeyore say, pinky up. I did that so that the match could, like, you could see the match lighting through my fingers, so I tried to make like a gap through there, because I was trying to think what it would look like from over there. I do catch myself doing that sometimes when I drink from a cup with a handle, like this one. Like that. It's one of those things that I guess is just inherently natural, because it's not something that I would consciously do, just because when I was growing up, I was very conscious of not being dainty or feminine in any way. Like, I wouldn't even chew pink bubble gum for a long time. Like, that's how far I took it. It's definitely not. It's not intentional. CT says he does the same thing. It's got to be one of those things. It's a natural motion or natural thing that just happens, depending on. See, like, I've noticed, it seems like there's two kinds of people when it comes to identifying how your hands work. You know, the musicians' hands work completely differently, and I'm going to assume that they're probably, because I can't. I've tried. I have a lot of difficulties when it comes to, like, trying to strum and do anything with a guitar or piano or anything like that. So I've noticed when people count, me personally, if I'm counting, I do 1, 2, 3. Some people do this for their 3. That, I get this, like, my tendons don't work that way. See? The tendons in my hands. I don't know if it's something where I broke all my fingers a lot whenever I was a kid playing basketball, a lot. Stoved them up a lot, broke my hands right through here a couple times in the growth plate areas from falling and the basketball mainly. I played a lot of basketball and baseball. But I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't think it does. But see, that causes me pain to put my pinky down like that with these other fingers up. I get pain back here in my wrist and right here. I know maybe that's weird, but what type of person are you? Do you count like me, or do you count the other way? Like, how do you count on your fingers? Like, this is the way I've got to do it. One and a 2. I got you. Tapping the sticks. If there was an instrument that I think that I could play, I can keep a beat. Like, I don't have any problems with my tone. I'm not tone deaf at all. I don't think, from everything that I've gathered about myself over the years, I'm not tone deaf, and I'm not lacking rhythm. And I can stay on beat. So if there was anything that I think that I could possibly do, I might be able to play the drums. Maybe. It takes a lot of practice to get into the multitasking, and I'm sure. I hope you learned your lesson, Kaylin. What happened? Just rub it in that I can't count. You got a permanent middle finger from a shop class accident? Well, my left foot doesn't move up and down. I can't move my toes. It really it sucks. I really, because there's sometimes when I'm paying attention to it, you know how, like, you rub your toes together like that, and it feels like it needs done. There's sometimes I feel like I need to do that with my left foot, and I can't do nothing. And then it's so overly sensitive. If I take my finger and, like, try to rub it, it's not the same, and it actually hurts because my foot's so numb. I got a, yeah, my leg's definitely kind of weird. I would, maybe I should like tell the story along with, I've got probably, I don't know, a couple thousand pictures of the aftermath. I only have one picture of the day that it happened. And that's the only thing I've, the day that the accident happened. Might have one in the hospital or something like that. Well, no, it would have been the next day probably by the time I got out of surgery. But one picture of the day, and no video, no nothing like that. I should have. I wasn't into to rolling videos and being on camera and stuff like that. I know for a fact that they had cameras pointing at us down there because you can see them. They're all over the place down there. I mean, we're talking about a probably, I would say, $1 billion company, energy company, power company, and like they're not going to have their main product down there that creates the energy. They're not going to have that surveilled. Plus, if anybody comes in down there, like, because I was on the river, anybody comes down in there on a pleasure boat, gets off the pleasure boat, climbs up what's called a cell, so climbs up one of the cells and and jumps off of it, gets hurt or worse. They would want those cameras to show that they weren't responsible for this happening, and they acted like they didn't have video of it. I'm sure there was video of it, but it didn't help them. Would be my guess. I would say there was probably plenty of video of it. Just none of that video was beneficial for them, So let's see here. I never did switch over to live chat. I never did see anybody's answers. Like, I'd like to know. There's like 40 people in here. How many people count like I do? If you count like I do, put a 1 in the chat. If you count with your fingers like I do, put a 1 in the chat. If you count the other way, with this, the 1, 2, 3 that way, which, like I said, I just, it's very unnatural for me. Kalen does not. Kurt does. Kurt counts like I do. Or Crot. I still never can pronounce your name right. Miss Marilyn does not count like I do. Use a click counter to count. Spicy. I've always paid attention to that. Well, not always. I would say for a long time I've paid attention to how people count. Because you see people do it on TV all the time, or you'll be in a situation where someone's counting like that. And so Eeyore counts the other way. CT counts the other way. Not like me. I do feel like I'm a little bit abnormal. I also hold my pencil abnormally. They tried to break me of this hardcore. Kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. By 3rd grade, they'd given up on me. Mike counts the same way I do. I wonder if it's like a right brain, left brain thing. For me, it's like in my tendons in my arm. Maybe if I could count the other way, I probably would, because it seems like the natural way that it would go, because that's the next finger should go up, but mine just doesn't want to. Okay, you start with your thumb, but still, when you get to having to hold that finger up, all right, you count with your thumb, and then when I get to this one, I'm switching to here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I know it's a weird sequence. It shouldn't be that way, but especially if I got my thumb out, I can't get that thing. I mean, that's it. I can't get that finger any further than that, straightened out wise. It just don't want to do it. One, two. I can't do it with my left hand at all. It's bad. Nope. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say a big thanks to Mike for the meal. I'll finish the peanut butter crackers, the coffee, the cookie, and the M&Ms. I'll maybe eat a couple more and then seal them back up. Because if you open them right, like I did, usually the glue hangs on. And you just take your fingers and squeeze it back together real good. In there. Because that glue there's still glue there, and you can just kind of iron it back together with your fingers. I've done that numerous times, and they stay usually. From everything I've seen, you can't even tell they were open. So you still got a cool looking collectible pack of M&Ms. I would just, if I ever give it to somebody or whatever, I'd let them know that I did open it. Good night, Miss Marilyn. I'm getting ready to get off of here too. I want to say a big thanks to you guys for coming and hanging out. And we got a good crew here, a lot of good people that stop in here. Between 200 and 500 people, 300 and 500 people usually. According to my counter thing is usually how many people stop in through the night. And that's been pretty consistent for a long time. It's not too many that we get overwhelmed. That it's also can still stay personal. A great community. You know, I mean, like, we saw Miss Renee in need of help and helped her out getting through the winter. So that was a big accomplishment in my opinion. I think, you know, I did do auctions and stuff to help out, but it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you guys. So, yeah, I think that's a big deal. I think anytime we can help somebody out like that, it's a big deal. And if any of us are in a situation like that, I think we end up helping each other out. So it's a close-knit community that we've formed here, and I'm proud of that. But, okay, guys, I am going to sign off. I need to get with History Savior. I remember that. Check out Mike Krisher's channel. Type it in. Or, it's too late to really put it up in the... I'll try to put it in the description. That way, if anybody watches it back, it'll be there. If not, click back, go into my videos. The last 2 videos, that's the only thing at the top of the description is a link to his channel. Huge thanks to LC for the box of goodness, of awesome stuff. I can't wait to get all that stuff set up and really properly displayed. And we'll think about that name for the general and talk about that soon. Huge thanks to my patrons as well. Thank you guys for being my patrons. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I guess really all I got left to do now is say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next live stream. Later.